Hello friends, welcome to Computology Academy, and today we are going to see how does the closure of the Suez Canal will affect the world trade. So the Suez Canal has got affected, its transit traffic has got affected because of one ship that has got landed on the side by side edges of the Suez Canal, and that ship, that is MV Given of the Evergreen company, has got landed because of the high wind speed and the desert storms that had been there in the Suez Canal vicinity, and that is the deserted area, and because of that there is very even topography, isotopic topography, and that is why there is high wind speed. So myself Vidyanand Singh, and do subscribe our channel for further informative videos and press the bell icon to get informed whenever we upload the new videos. So let us start. So this is the location of the Suez Canal, that is between the African continent and the Sinai Peninsula, and here all this region is a subtropical belt where there is the deserted area, and because of this desert area there is very low vegetation, and the topography is also isotropic, because of which what happens here, there is very high wind speeds. So the wind blows unrestricted, and because of that they can move larger objects also, and because of that what happened, that the ship was floating on the water surface, and the base of the ship was having very less friction, so it can't hold its position, and because of the high wind speed what happened, it got landed on the sides of the Suez Canal. And the Suez Canal is a very important trade route, and it accommodates the traffic of the trade of the various regions, like in the Western Europe region, the North American region. It gets connected to the India, and also to the Southeast Asia and China. So this is a very important route which accommodates various transits of the crude oils, commodities, etc. So now see what has happened. So this is the picture of this MV Ever Given, that is of 400 meter length, but the width of this canal is 313 meter only at present. That this is the average width, and the axis of the canal has only higher depth, and the edges are not having that much of depth, and this depth goes on decreasing towards the edge from the axis. And as I have discussed that it is a deserted area, but you can see here it is a greenery, and this is not because of the lack of information, but this is because this is a canal that connects the region through the water of the Nile River. So the Nile River runs parallel to the Suez Canal, and this water is brought in this region from the small canals from the Nile River to service these areas, because this area is well populated to accommodate the people who runs the canal and who maintains the canal, so that the traffic should flow easily. So this is the situation here, and what has happened, that that ship is 400 meter, and this is the length, that is the perpendicular length. Okay, so wherever the ship's length we measure from the bottom, that is till the place where the bottom is having even surface, from that end front to toe is counted as the perpendicular length, and thereafter this end to end length is counted as the overall length. So this ship is having overall length of 400 meters, and it is here the summer load line. This is the line till which the ship gets submerged when it is loaded with the cargo, and this is the freeboard. It is the height of the ship which is above the water surface even after having the cargo load. So this is the configuration of the ship, and now come to the configuration of the canal. So the canal was built in 1859, it was 69 it was completed. The work had started on 1858, and this was completed by by a consortium of companies that was made by the French and the British governments. So this canal was having initially very low capacity, but in 1956 what had happened, its maximum load capacity was increased to 30,000 deadweight tonnage. Then again its capacity was increased to 1,50,000 deadweight tonnage, and this was increased because time and again the ships are going bigger and bigger to carry more cargo in one go, and because of that this canal was unable to accommodate the ships which are having the higher deadweight tonnage. And to improve its carrying capacity, again the dredging and its profile improvement was done. And here you can see in 1956 its cross sectional area was 1200 meter squares only. So its surface water width was 148 meters, but its deep water width was just 36 meters. So it was improved and it was made to 3600 meter squares, and its surface water width was increased to 263 meters, and this goes on. And in 2010 the overall surface water width is 313 meters, and its deep water bottom water surface length width is 121 meters. Its overall cross-sectional area is 5200 meter squares. So this was the situation in 2010, and till now this is the same situation. However, the work is on to make this canal double lane. So this, because of this, what happened, when the ship drifted, the ship's hull and end, front hull and end, hit this sand or the bottom region, and because of this what happened, it got landed and it is stuck over there. And right now the dredgers and the excavators are working on it to get it afloat again, but it may take time and the process is very tedious. And if it will not be done by the dredging and the excavation only, then the people will have to unload the ship completely, and thereafter only it can be afloat again. So this is the map of the routes, that is one route passes through the Suez Canal and one route passes through the Cape of Good Hope. So the difference between these two routes is that this route is 9,000, Cape of Good Hope route is 9,000 kilometers longer than the Suez Canal route. And because of that what happens, if a ship goes through the route of Cape of Good Hope, then it will take 12 days extra to reach from Strait of Malacca to here in the Western Europe. So this is the case, because of which what has happened, at the south end of the Suez Canal there is a heavy jam and around 250 ships are waiting to pass through the Suez Canal. Same is the situation at the northern end also. And what is the situation here, that if this will go on, then the prices of the world trade and the commodities may go up, the crude oil prices may go up, because this is the region, the North African region is a crude oil producing region. Here the Arabian Peninsula is also a oil producing region, and because of this what may happen, if the prices of transit and the transport may go up, then again what will happen, the prices of the products, commodities and the crude oil may also go up. So this is the situation at present. Thank you very much, and you may visit our website for the various courses, and please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon to get notified whenever we post the new videos. Thank you very much and have a nice day.